AR Beats.
Hello guys, me again. Happy 1st of October. I'm so excited to be having this conversation today about going beyond the art. I'm waiting for Connet, who's going to be joining me. We're just going to be talking about pushing boundaries and, pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. Yes, there he is. Sent a request. I'm waiting for Corn. I'm so excited to have this conversation today. I think it's a good one. Corns!
Yes, what's up?
How are you? You look
I'm
so
good.
businessy and so serious.
It's
With
an
glasses
act.
and all.
It's an act.
Are you performing? I don't think it's an act because you're making all that money out there. You
It's
must
an
have.
act. It's an
You
act.
must have.
Trust me.
It's not an act.
I'm
I mean, I
actually
was
at the
out.
house. I put some wallpaper stuff that looks like I have files at the back.
No, those files are dealing with serious cash and serious money. And I'm just like, Cornet, can you hire me?
Who?
Can you hire me?
Ish. I
You don't
mean,
know.
we can partner. I don't think I can
We can.
afford you. I don't think I can afford you.
I think you can afford me. Maybe, maybe not. I can shapa the multi-millions and that. That's why you'll be saying
I receive.
so that you can educate the people. And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation with you is to talk about going beyond the art. Right? You're an incredible performer, and a lot of people know you as T-Boss on Skeem Saam, ne? But busy more na insurance what Dignify, I think that's what your company is called. And so I've just been thinking about business, obviously. 2020 has made us think outside of the box, right? You start to daydream, you start to conceptualize, because you're like, I've woken up to the reality that just depending on one stream of income is not, it's not always so sustainable, right? So my first question for you is like, what actually got Cornet thinking about jumping into business, like insurance business, to be more specific, because it's completely it feels like it's completely, you just took
Yeah.
a short left and you're just like, you know what? This acting thing is great and I'm killing it. But now I'm just going to go beyond the art. So what got you into that space?
You see, with me, I think from the onset, my approach in the arts has never been about go to school, graduate, look for
Right.
employment, get a theater company to employ you and you act, or get a production house, go audition and get employment. But it has always been about you are in it to tell stories, create, sell, and but at that time, obviously, you did not have that world of business to say this that I'm writing or conceptualizing,
Right.
it can be a business material. So having done, I've done writing, written a couple of scripts, produced theater festivals,
Right.
and then when I wasn't there, my interest has always been how can I use the arts in other industries, because at the end of the day, everything's just about storytelling. And So after I've been exposed to industrial theater and corporate theater and realized how people marry your more corporate world and the arts, and they use art services to improve, you
Right.
know, the corporate world.
Mm.
It was then that I was introduced to what sales is, what marketing is, and so forth. And I was like, this is the world worth
Right.
experiencing and exploring. And then I started as a sales agent. Then I was exposed more into the financial industry, what people do, on what level, how do they get business, and so forth. And I was like, it's not as scary as people make it look like.
Mm.
Like that formal world that you as an artist, you're never exposed to because you're focused in the arts, it's not as complicated as people make it look like. And that's how I got in. I was like, hey, let me do this. If I can sell tickets for a show,
Right.
why would it be
You can,
difficult for me to sell a policy?
because I don't know. It still sounds scary to me. Like, obviously because it's outside of my comfort zone, and the business of insurance is completely foreign to me. You know, I just know the basic thing. I thought, okay, cool. You get a policy for this and this. If this happens, this is what's going to happen, right? But you were still brave enough to to say to yourself, okay, in as much as I've done corporate theater, which I feel like I get what you're saying, that art is used as a tool to enhance when you're doing corporate theater and all that stuff. But insurance, for me, for some reason, feels like a completely like a completely different thing. You know, when I saw Dignified, I'm
It's
like, I
not
love the
cozy.
name, but like, I'm just like, yo, I swear, you know,
Think about it
for
this
me,
way.
okay.
Think about it this way, ne? Think about it this way. So, one of the things that we're privileged of as artists, ne, is
Mm,
the fact that we're exposed to a variety of industries. So it's by choice that we don't want to pursue those industries. So if you were to
mm,
be given a role or a storyline and you play this specific role in this type of a film, you are forced to go an extra mile as an artist and do research
right.
in trying to find the story, the character, and how
Mm,
those characters will behave in that space. And that
mm,
itself is just research. You find a lot of things in that process. So it's about you saying, okay, I'll just dig deeper into this industry just for my role. Or, you can be that human being that says, actually,
mm,
this world is so interesting to live in as a character. And let me explore this world as an actor, eventually as a business person. And
right.
that's how we should actually do it. There's so many um, companies that are offering your industrial and corporate theater services to big companies that
Mm,
have improved those companies, the staff
right.
morale in those companies, they've improved sales in those companies, they've improved a whole lot of things. And
Mm,
that's just how we just need to start thinking, and not just want to create for stage, for TV, for radio, for publications, and so forth.
right.
That's how I
Right.
think. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're so deep. I actually never thought about it that way, you know, to be out here analyzing characters ne, and saying, okay, because I played a doctor. Ne, I don't know, not become a doctor per se, but I should sell medical equipment. I get it, because now my character was out here. Essentially, that's what you say, right? To think outside the box and to connect with your characters so much so that you take them to
Yeah.
life. Of course, if that character is great, because Halele Panzola, on the other hand, I don't know what. Well, I don't know if the same principles would be applicable. But anyway, on that note, you also do quite a bit of community work, right? And there's the Connect Mama Bolo library, right? I'm just like, I'm always in awe of you, because every time we catch up or I hear something about you, it's like Connett is out here doing the most. I'm like, it's so interesting. What the character you took them off, right? You got inspired to do the insurance bit, and then now there's the library and the beautiful community work that you're doing, right?
Mhm.
So valuable. Again, I'm just also interested in knowing about that journey, because a library, right? A lot of people would give things away and all that stuff, but a library has so many layers to it, you know, the
Mhm.
education aspect of it, a legacy that one can leave behind, because it's a constant, one can constantly visit, but what actually got you to say, you know what, this is another thing that I want to do, out of the 300 things that you're doing, which are
Yeah.
all popping, by the way?
Your you see, when I started um, doing community work, so the first few things that I started doing was just to go to schools and speak to learners,
Mm,
uh, go to prisons, speak to them there, go to communities and just give talks, you know, and it all feels good. You do see some people are listening there in the audience, trying to make sense of what you're saying. Some get inspired and so forth. But then in the long run, I realized, oh no, man, is this really enough? You know,
mm,
to just go
mm,
and after you speak to somebody and then you impact them and then you leave, you
mm,
leave the reality that is unpleasant, that reality of no resources, that reality of poverty, that reality of a whole lot of things. And
right.
your words of encouragement or wisdom,
Mm,
they what I've experienced is that they last for that 1 week, for that month, for that
mm,
3 months,
mm,
for that 12 months. Some they are so strong that they are able to just rely on a story to get going in life. But to
mm,
most, reality hits them that whatever that you were saying just, ends
right.
there, right?
Mm,
Then I was like, maybe we need to start leaving things behind, you know?
mm,
It's like doing a festival and calling in big acts. I usually give this example: doing a
mm,
festival, calling big acts, calling the community. They come, they watch, they come to the festival, they drink, they celebrate, and then we think that by watching the big guys on stage, they will
mm,
get inspired and eventually get to the point where those guys are at.
right.
It's the same thing as going to people and giving motivation, and the impact does not last that long.
Mm,
But if you were to have a much more impactful program,
right.
running workshops, creating a show at the end of the day, and making people tour the world and interact with the other communities and be more
Mm,
and more advanced. So with
mm,
me, it was like, yes, we talk. Yes, you're trying to tap into the education space, but what are you leaving behind? Then
right.
the idea of a library is like, okay, so the library will be that space, you see, that
Mm,
space
mm,
where even if the schools around do not have textbooks or access to internet and so forth, but there will be that center where they will be able to go and do research and interact with the world. You understand? You will
mm,
have
mm,
reading clubs there. You will be able to invite the outside community there to even do
right.
programs, not just going there to talk and so forth. And that's the
Mm,
whole idea around it. And lastly, it was I'm from the rural areas, you see.
mm.
So
So am I. Both of us. Yolo to
yeah,
the rural.
yeah. So you would know the challenges there. That
Yes.
every time when you go home, you have those group of friends that did not manage to get a taste of what you have, be it
Right.
education, employment, or exposure.
Mm,
So I felt like, do I even have a say to say, oh, this guy is not where he needs to be because it's a choice, or he's
mm,
lazy, or what? You
mm,
understand?
mm, mm.
So I was speechless. So you can only start having a voice if there's something that you've done, contributed of
Right.
some sort, and say, I've tried X, Y, and Z, and I've seen the
Mm.
impact of it, or I see that these people don't have interest for this and that.
But
So Yeah.
Like, because now I'm thinking about what you're saying, and I'm like, it's so true. You can't just like theorize or, talk about things and not put something out there, something practical, or give something back that people can use. But on another breath, I'm thinking like maybe a lot of people don't actually go that route because then they think resources, right? I don't know if that's a limitation or a mindset kind of thing. So when I gonna you're Cornet, the Cornet, right?
No, I'm
So,
still young. I'm still young.
yeah,
I'm still young.
there's
Eh?
no,
No resources.
no, listen. So
Okay.
the young resourceful, I get it. You're the young resourceful Cornet.
Mm-mm.
No,
No.
yeah. So the young resourceful Connet, right, is able to open these like this library and give back. But a lot of people may think to themselves, maybe I'm not in a position to contribute something that significant because I don't have the resource. So I just want to pick your brain on that kind of mentality, because when you are the Cornet, right? So as the Cornet, and the Cornezi for Sheezy, there's certain there's,
You're
there's
putting me
certain
on a high level, and
because
I'm
you need
not
to.
there.
No, you need to embody it. We need to embrace it. You know how they say fake it until you make it, but you ain't faking it because you're making it, so you're making it until you make it bigger, right? And bigger. But that's not the topic here, right? So you have access to these different platforms and different people, because I've seen you with very big people, okay, and shaking hands with the biggest people out here, and I'm like, what? Which is amazing, absolutely inspiring and incredible. But you have that access to more people, right? So some people may feel like they're limited to contributing significantly, if that makes any sense, um because of their lack of resources. So how do you go about, if you don't mind me asking, um, setting everything up in terms of this whole thing? I get out of you don't have resources. So take us through it for some of us who don't have the resources, so that like I'm so a library. Or it doesn't
Okay.
have to be a library. I mean, that's just an example, or something significant to leave behind for the people, to roll with.
Look, you know, okay, so I get frustrated very easily. All right.
Mm,
I'll give you an example. So the first map that I experienced, it was when I did not have, when myself and my family did not have money for me to go and pursue my studies, finish my studies, right?
right,
So the frustration was me seeing my peers going back to school, right?
right.
So remember, you are in the middle of a program
Mm,
that you highly believe that you need to finish this program in order for you to be employable or to be recognized in the initiatives that you do and so forth, right?
right,
Because
right.
once you don't have that, then it's pressure alone. When you compare yourself to your peers, you're already thinking that it's a minus on your side. Okay.
Mm, mm,
Now, I said, this frustration, it won't get me anywhere. Let me
mm.
do a festival. Did I have the money for it? No. Did I have
Okay,
funders? No. Ne?
so how do you do that festival? Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's about understanding what makes a thing, like what
Mm,
needs to go into the pot to make something happen.
right.
And is it human resources? Is it, do you need money? Do you need a writer? Do you need a
Mm,
space? What type of
mm,
space do you need?
mm,
So you end up, if the actual document will say you need 300,000, you realize you will end up spending 10,000 because we are able to, put pieces together and
mm,
eventually make that you wanted to make. Okay.
mm.
Now you come to the library issue. On the library part, what makes a library? It's the same questions. What makes a library? You need
Right,
space, right?
right.
But you need books.
Mm,
You need furniture. But can you really get all of these pieces together? without having to spend a cent?
Mm.
Yeah, the answer is yes, even though it will be difficult, but the answer is yes. All right.
Right.
But then ideal route will be somebody saying, I need money for paint, I need money for this, and then this dream becomes so big and so big for you for it to even be impossible for you to achieve. Well, you understand the name? This library was created, it was like done by a team of young people. And in that team, none of them have a stable job. Now, we wanted to build a library. It's as simple as that. We're going to get books. Can we get guys that can give us books? Yes. Can we write to companies to give us books? We don't want their money. Yes, they can. There are companies that produce furniture. Can they create something simple for us from the waste that they have? Yes, they can. All right. Some can. Can we get paint? Can we get guys that have knowledge in terms of setting up a library? Yes. You know what? Can you get people to work in the library? Who can you get? Can you partner with the associations? Because every association have pressure for work placement, your librarians and so forth. So you start to think outside of the box, because it's not about the money. It's not about having to get funds to get something. It's about you having to make means to get something done.
You're inspiring, Cons. You know right now how my heart is beating. Okay, continue. I'm listening. I'm just like, yeah.
It's about getting things. Yes. At that time, I had through Digny, I already had stakeholders that could help with certain equipment that we can place in the library.
Right.
You know, then you do that, but the library is not where it's supposed to be. If I'm not resourced, I'm not there. Will you believe if I tell you that I've gotten promises from government agencies, government departments, and high officials that are saying we're going to invest in that thing, and none of them has ever showed up. You understand? None of them has ever showed up. When you running it, there are people that are running the library that are not being paid. You pay them there. Yes, somebody might not have the money to keep the library going, but is it sustainable? Definitely not. Because the support that you're supposed to be getting, you're not getting it at all.